So calculating seasonal indices. So at some point you will have to be able to calculate a seasonal index. And where do these magical numbers come from? Spoiler alert, it's a bit of a lengthy process, much like the smoothing, but it can be made simpler using the spreadsheets. The quarterly sales figures for the number of cars sold were recorded for 2015 to 2017. Calculate the seasonal index for each quarter correct to 4 decimal places. Use the seasonal indices to deseasonalize the data correct to 2 decimal places. Plot the original and the deseasonalized data on the same set of axes. So to calculate the seasonal index, we need to follow a number of steps. Step 1, calculate the yearly mean. So we need to take the average for each of these. So this is step 1, so we'll need to do 5 plus 7 plus 9 plus 3. So 5, let's zoom in here. So it's 5 plus 7 plus 9 plus 3. All divided by 4. And that gets me equal to 6. I'll do the same for the other ones as well. So 4 plus 8 plus 9 plus 4. 4, all divided by 4. And that gets us 6.25. And then 5 plus 9 plus 10 plus 5. All divided by 4, which is equal to 7.25. Step 2, calculate the quarterly proportions. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide each quarterly sales figure by the corresponding yearly mean. So we're going to divide each one by their average. So this would help if we can just write what those original figures were. And what we're going to do is we'll divide each quarterly figures by the corresponding yearly mean. So we're going to divide all of these by 6. I may as well use some color coding here. 6, 6, 6, 6. And then we're going to divide each of these by 6.25. And then we've got 7. So you can put all of those into your calculator. So, and this is where I might actually start using the spreadsheet. What I'm going to do is I'm then going to take the mean of each of these. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and fill that in. And now I've got my yearly averages. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to now do step 2. So you'll notice here I've highlighted everything. I'm calculating the quarterly proportions. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this, paste it into here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do, my hope is that this will turn out a little bit sneaky. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and do a little formula. You notice that I've put the equal sign. I want to divide each of these by the average on the right. So I'm actually going to go to equals 5. So I'm just click that top cell, divided by the average. I'm going to do the same over here. So equals 7 divided by the average. I'm just clicking the cells. Equals 9 divided by the average. And I'm going to do this cell divided by the average. And then what I'm going to do, is I'm hoping this will work, is I'm going to go and essentially press copy. So edit, copy, and paste it. And what it should do is you'll see there, it's actually now automatically doing 4 divided by 2016's average. So I can then copy and then paste that there. And my hope is that if I highlight all of these, it should do this rather nicely, like so. I think that's, yep. And then I can do the same thing down here. Yeah, so it's now gone and calculated all of those. So you can enter those figures. So all I've done there is we've calculated the average for each year, and then I've divided each of the real numbers by the year. Step 3, what we're going to do is we're going to calculate the seasonal indices. So this is the actual getting the indices part. We're going to find the average of each of these values that we've done, each of these proportions. So we've got the easiest way to do here. So seasonal index is I'm just going to find the average for each of these. So mean. There we go, so seasonal for that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill that in, fill range. And now I've got all of my seasonal indices in there. So I've done that. Now, we need to make sure that we've done this correctly. So the best way to test to see if we've done this correctly is that, remember, the seasonal indices have to add up to the total number of seasons. So in this case, they have to add up to 4 because there are 4 seasons. So I'm going to just add them all up. I'm going to equals sum, highlight these, close brackets, and they equal to 4. Perfect. So let's have a look back at the actual questions. Calculate the seasonal index for each quarter correct to 4 decimal places. Once again, because I'm paranoid, I just want to double check that this still adds up to 4. 0.7210 plus 1.2294 plus 1.4398 plus 0.6099. And there you can see there we've got this 4.0001. Well, looky here. 1.2293.4. So if I don't know if you can see down there, this has got a completely super unrounded figure, 2293.48659. So it actually shouldn't be 2294. It actually should be 2293, and thus this will add up to 4. Again, it's worth double checking. And there's 4. So remember, when you're rounding, it should still all add up to 4. If yours isn't, double check to see if there is a rounding error somewhere. So now it's time to de-seasonalize the original time series data using the formula actual value divided by seasonal index. So what we're going to do is we're going to take each of the numbers and divide it by the values that we've given there. So probably one of the easiest ways to do that would be to again use your spreadsheet. But basically what you want to do is you want to say, if we take this first top row, so what was it? 5793. 5793. Remember that? 5793. And then divide them all by their appropriate seasonal indices. So 0.7210, 1.2293, 1.4398, and 0.6099. Should you use the unrounded figure from the previous calculation? It did say to seasonal index to 4 decimal places, so we should use the answers that we have. And so now what we need to do is to make an actual graph using, we want to have the original seasonalized data, and also the deseasonalized. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and pop this into a graphing program. So graph, and just so we can see what it looks like. When you plot the data, please make sure that you plot it in sequential order. So what do I mean by that? You're not making 3 separate graphs. You are actually starting from 6.93. So you're going to start at number 1, quarter 1, go up to 6.93 and then plot it. And then continuing on like a little snake. So 6.93, 5.69, 6.25 and so on. You'll see what this looks like when we get to the actual graph. So here is my actual data plotted with my deseasonalized data. So when you're plotting it, just a couple of things, make sure you always have a heading, and you've got axes here. So this would be sales. Is it sales that will? Yeah, number of cars sold. So cars sold. And this would be time or quarters. We can actually just leave it as time. You don't need to put like the actual years or anything like that on there. So the other thing I'd suggest is make sure you put some sort of legend or key so we know which one is which. So which one you actually, which one's your actual and which one is your deseasonalized as well. Example 6D.4, the quarterly sales figures for the number of king-size beds sold were recorded by a furniture shop. And we need to do the exact same thing again. We need to get those seasonal figures, seasonal indices. We need to use them to deseasonalize the data and plot the original and deseasonalize on the same axis. I would suggest you might want to pause the video and give this a go for yourself to see if you can do it. Because I'm going to do this very quickly. I'm probably going to speed up the video using the spreadsheet option. So pause the video now, give it a go, and see if you're all right. So hopefully your graph looks something like this.